Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. The last time markets got really bloody within the last few weeks or so, I implemented unilaterally the buddy system. So that the next time that we saw global crypto markets crater in terms of price action, we could make sure that everyone is okay and that everyone's present and accounted for, because these are scary times. So have you checked on your buddy lately? I'd like to know. But the market is absolutely in extreme fear right now. Very much panic. We've seen XRP engage in a precipitous price drop, but that was led by Bitcoin. It has nothing to do with utility, nothing has functionally changed, but things start happening, and then emotions, yada, 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 price lower. And that's effectively what's happening right now. So I want to share with you some thoughts. I've got opinions from a couple different chart analysts, but has the macro picture, the big picture, changed? Most people, at least to this point, saying no, despite the pullback today. Take a look at this headline from the Daily Hodl. And this is interesting to me. I want to touch on this because we're talking about on-chain analytics, and it's the human behavior associated with all of the price volatility is endlessly interesting. And so when you're talking about on-chain analytics, you're talking about various factors, in this case surrounding Bitcoin, which leads the market, and just seeing how people are behaving right now and how they historically have behaved entering bear markets. And so here's the headline. Long-term holders accumulated $112 billion worth of Bitcoin in 2021, according to crypto intelligence firm Glassnode. And I'll even tell you here at the outset of the video that, because again, they're covering the Glassnode data, it certainly doesn't seem like we've seen the same sort of like mass hysteria around Bitcoin that we saw during the last bull run in late 2017, which is a curious fact to me. And also worth mentioning here, and I'm going to just briefly touch on this probably towards the tail end of the video, there's a report from investment firm Goldman Sachs, and they're confident that Bitcoin is going to hit $100,000. Now, they don't necessarily think that it will happen this market cycle. They're not saying whether it will or won't, but it's worth pointing out because here's the deal. Those that have a sufficient timeline in mind, those who are sufficiently patient, those are the people that get rewarded. So either something will become reality or it will not, but just because it doesn't happen on the timeline that you'd prefer, it's completely irrelevant. And the people that can't handle that fact, those are the people that get wrecked in crypto markets. But look, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say are right. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. At the time I'm recording this, XRP is down to 76 cents. Oh my god, XRP is lower than the price of the where I bought it, and if it goes lower, I should probably sell it. That Mr. Mouth Breather, you do what you want. I'm not going to tell you to buy or sell, but please quit breathing on my neck with your disgusting mouth juices. Like, I do not appreciate that. See, this is the type of thought process. Like, I'm so the opposite. Price go lower and they want to sell? Yes, well, that's welcome to human psychology, folks. For me, if you want to entice me to sell, you want me to part from my precious XRP, I need a higher price. Because I'm not stupid, okay? Bitcoin's at $43,157. Market cap for the asset class, $2.1 trillion, and Bitcoin dominance at 38.58%. Yeah, things not looking so hot. In fact, here's the Bitcoin 24-hour chart. You can see where the precipitous drop began right here, just in the afternoon. Because Bitcoin was as high as $47,000 within the last 24 hours, breaking as low as $42,687. And there could be, as you'll see in just a moment, I'm going to highlight this from a couple analysts, but there could be potentially some more pain in the short term. Could get even more dramatic, which is kind of hard to believe when you take a look at the crypto fear and greed index, because people are not doing well. The poor little lemmings out there, and I assume all of them are mouth breathers. Here you go. Crypto fear and greed index at 15 out of 100 because reasons. Oh, it just don't make no damn sense to Moon. It really doesn't. And that's down from 24 out of 100 yesterday. I mean, it makes sense in like if you understand human psychology, but I'm saying emotionally feeling these things is not logical. That's really what I more precisely mean when I say that. But of course, it makes sense. I understand that humans behave like this. So in that sense, yeah, of course, this is all normal and expected. It's still stupid and not logical, though. That's it. And so I tweeted this out a couple hours ago. Prices dropping. Everyone okay out there? I remember a couple years ago when XRP dropped to 11 cents and people panic sold. I wasn't able to purchase the exact bottom, but I did buy XRP at 15 cents. A year later, XRP ran to $2. Expand your time horizon. And this is a true story. And for anybody out there that may not have heard me say this because there are always new subscribers coming on board, like, I'm impervious to emotions. Like, emotions are stupid, so I just don't have them. And I do, when it comes to trading, like, I literally mean that. I do not feel things other than excitement when the price goes up. But even then, I don't respond to the emotions. But I don't get scared when price go down. That's stupid. It doesn't make logical sense. But I haven't always been like that. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. Now, luckily, I didn't ever emotionally respond to the scary feels, but I got them. I used to get them. I've been in crypto since November 2017. The very last time, and I remember the last time I ever felt scared about the price action of XRP or crypto, it was in August of 2018. I actually happened to have been out of town. I was in San Francisco, and I happened to have gone by the Ripple headquarters and saw Brad Garlinghouse. I didn't get to say hello. He was on the phone. I've told that story once or twice. But he happened to have exited the building right when I was there. And anyway, though, it just happened to be the case that I happened to be actually staying in downtown San Francisco. And the price of XRP, it got down to, I believe that day it got down to 25 cents, if memory serves. And mind you, I started dollar cost averaging in in the however long it was, the few months prior to that, because we were clearly in a bear market at that point. But once price had dropped sufficiently, because it was as high as $4, I started buying more XRP, and so I started buying. I remember around 55 cents, and then 50 cents, 45 cents, 40 cents. It just kept dropping, 35, and maybe I'm a little bit nervous along the way. But for some reason, that day when I saw it as low as 25 cents, I was like, oh my god! It's like, oh my god, what am I doing? Oh my god! It's those types of feelings. We've all felt that, right? And I did feel that, and it's not a fun feeling, right? But then I said something to myself that I knew to be true. I reminded it to be the case. I was like, Matt, you were expecting the price to go down. You knew you couldn't purchase the bottom. You're expecting a multi-year bear market, even though you don't know for sure, Matt, how long it's going to be. But after a big top like that, historically, in terms of price action, it's reasonable to suspect it's going to be a number of years before things start to go up. And your investment's going to be at break even or down for the foreseeable future, because you can't buy the bottom. And that's like all of these things I was saying to myself over some period of time. And then I let that sink in. And so that, in conjunction with my real world experience, like I really did take my own little pep talk to heart. And that was literally the last time I ever felt those scary emotions in terms of price action. Never, ever, ever again. And think about this. I went through XRP dropping to 11 cents. That didn't scare me. When it got down to from 55 cents when I started dollar cost averaging in down to 25 cents in August of 2018, yes, that scared me. But then I got over it. And by the time XRP ended up in March of 2020 dropping down to 11 cents, it didn't scare me in the least. And again, that was led by the Bitcoin drop and stocks were crashing, all that stuff. And so I knew it was all tied together. I was just like, okay, whatever. And so I wasn't able to buy perfectly the bottom because it wasn't at 11 cents for long, but I did buy at 15 cents. That's the lowest I was able to get. I was like, okay, cool. Got some real dirt cheap. And think about that. When it got down to 11 cents, my investment, and at that point I had been in crypto for years, my investment was down, probably 60%, 60% from where I bought it? Think about that. Now, of course, a year later, XRP ran up to about $2. So then I was up somewhere in the neighborhood, and somewhere in the neighborhood of 800%. So it's just, again, this is a known quantity. The fact that there's volatility, it's to be expected. It just doesn't make sense from my perspective to be emotionally responding to this stuff. And so I just don't. It's ridiculous. And so I know there's scared people out there. And so that's okay. It doesn't make you weak or stupid. It makes you normal. I felt it too. But on days like this where it's extra bloody, I want to share my stories and my perspective on this, hopefully providing a bit of reassurance to people out there, because I can't tell you if it makes sense for you to buy or sell or hold. I would never want that type of responsibility anyway. All I can tell you is how I look at investing in crypto markets in general. And historically, the data shows that people are the ones that do well. And to me, that's incredible, though. Like, there's so much opportunity. Yeah, I could have panic sold at 11 cents because I was down 60%. I could have cut my losses, and then I would have missed that big run up to $2. And I didn't sell there either, because for me to be sufficiently enticed, I want to see an all-time high and enter price discovery, and then I'll start thinking about selling a little bit of my XRP. But I'm not willing to before that. I just don't believe that the all-time high we saw January 4th of 2018 near $4, I don't believe that will be the all-time high forever. That's the bet that I placed. Either XRP goes to zero, and it could, I don't believe it will, but it could, or it's going to enter price discovery after hitting all-time high. That's the one I'm betting on. And so I'm just going to hold everything in between. Doesn't matter. It's just noise. And it's expected. Data, of course, we've got 13 years of crypto activity showing this is to be expected. And people still emotionally respond. My gosh, get your house in order. It's okay. And I don't mean that to be mean, but I'm saying, it's like, I've been there too. I'm just trying to provide a little emotional support. That's all I mean by that. And then there's this from chart analyst Credible Crypto. And he wrote the following: long squeeze it is. We have pushed below $44,000, but have not seen mass liquidations yet, which means we could be forced down further. Stay calm and cool and start picking out your favorite alts. I'll personally be looking to buy more CRV under $4.60 if we manage to get it. And so look, see how the people that have been in this space and understand historically how price action unfolds, and maybe they understand some technical analysis. You see how they emotionally respond differently? While all of these mouth breathers out there are panicking right now and actually selling at a loss, Credible Crypto's like, wow, we're getting an opportunity to buy some cryptocurrencies on sale. And we've been trending upwards for 13 years. So if you think that trend's going to break and never resume, okay, well then maybe you're right. I don't believe that. I'm not going to bet on that. That's ridiculous. And so Credible Crypto said here too at the bottom, it's worth noting, he said if we go below $42,000, which we have not yet at the time I'm recording this at least, he wrote that this flush then is likely that we'll move. Let me just read it from start. If we go below $42,000 on this flush, then this likely is that move from $30,000 to $42,000 before the next macro move up. And so that's a range that he's been talking about for some time. That he's not putting a 100% stamp on this, but he thinks that it's fairly reasonable to suspect that Bitcoin will end up in the range of $30,000 to $42,000. That's what he's been looking for. And then once that happens, it'll be time for the next macro move up. That's his perspective. And so we haven't seen that yet, which means, that's why I was kind of warning you also at the outset, according to Credible Crypto, there could be in the short term more pain. And if that happens, you know what I'm going to do? Nothing. I'm going to do precisely nothing. It's so easy for me to do nothing. I'm getting paid to be patient. And I will out-patient anyone else. And this is what it takes. This is what it takes to make money in crypto. The people that get in and out of positions and emotionally respond, and they don't get human psychology, they don't make money, they stay poor forever. That's what happens. That's what the data shows. All right, and so here's a chart that Credible Crypto showed, just showing that roughly that range, 30 to 42,000. He thinks somewhere in there will be the bottom. It's a pretty big range, but he thinks that's it. And then could rocket on up. And even if it wicks below that $30,000 range, that's not enough. He has publicly stated also that's not enough to invalidate the macro trend from his perspective. But he's one of these guys, one of the most popular analysts out there. He's now got 290,100 followers all up on the Twitters, and he has strong conviction Bitcoin will end up above $100,000 this market cycle. So we shall see. And then there was this, and this is this is just a friendly reminder. As XRP goes down, it doesn't mean that the coin that you own is defective. XRP is moving in tandem with the rest of the market. And so here, Credible Crypto is talking about Ethereum. And he wrote, sub $3,500 hit. Next key region of support is between 3,000 to 3,300. If I was interested in adding Ethereum to my spot port, that is where I would start scaling in. Ultimately, how long we go will be determined by how deep Bitcoin pushes, but can't go wrong dollar cost averaging near $3,000 in my opinion. Ethereum. And so there you go. If you get that opportunity with Ethereum at those types of price levels, it's because Bitcoin went lower. None of this is unknown. None of this should be surprising. None of this warrants emotional response. Just be aware of it. But this is also true of XRP. I don't know how low XRP will get if Bitcoin goes even further. Will we see a 60-cent XRP, a 50-cent XRP? I don't know, and I don't care. I will care when XRP is either zero or hitting its all-time high. That's when I'll care, and entering price discovery. because that's my bet. It's going to do one or the other. The other, all the noise in between, that's to be expected. It doesn't stop being volatile just because Matt decided to put his money into crypto. That's not how this works. Same for you. Just because you put your money into crypto doesn't mean the behavior of the last 13 years magically stops. It's going to keep going. So just be aware of that. Here's a thought from Michael Vanderpop, who does think that the bottom's in it seems anyway. Simply put, Bitcoin lost support, seeking for all the liquidity, maybe a test at $42,000 range, and that should be it. A longer cycle. Another year of bullish perspectives. Total market capitalization for crypto is fine too. So clearly, the one thing that I firmly agree on this with him on is this idea of a longer cycle. That's proven at this point. That's no longer a question. As far as whether or not we're locally bottomed, I don't know. Is Bitcoin in a bear market? No way to know for sure. Blockchain backers still very confident that is indeed the case, and he's pretty much the only one that I'm aware of that thinks that. But that doesn't mean he's wrong, by the way, either. I'm just super curious to see how this all pans out. But either way, the euphoric blow-off top is still coming. I just don't believe that this will be the first time that doesn't happen. And even if it were the first time it doesn't happen, and we go into a bear market, and XRP and everything else is suppressed, and we didn't get to have our profit taking, that doesn't even that wouldn't change my equation, because I'm betting on zero or a new all-time high in price discovery. It's for me, whatever the timeline is, I know I can't control that, and I know weird stuff can happen. You know, even though the market structures generally look somewhat similar, that's why they say the market rhymes with itself, it's not going to be exactly the same. So even if we're entering a bear market, and even if for the first time ever we don't see an alt season at the tail end of the market cycle, and I still don't think it's going to happen, but if we actually don't get that, I'm still just going to hold. I will outpatient anyone else, because that's what the hell it takes. Now into the daily hodl piece, Glassnode talking about Bitcoin here. Long-term holders bought into Bitcoin in a huge way last year, according to crypto analytics firm Glassnode. In a new report, the firm notes long-term holders of Bitcoin, entities that have kept their Bitcoin dormant for 155 days or longer, went through a massive accumulation phase in 2021, buying up more than 2.42 million Bitcoin after March, currently worth $112.5 billion. Long-term holders did sell off a modest amount of their Bitcoin supply following Bitcoin's all-time highs in October and November, but those sales have since plateaued, according to Glassnode. And this is a quote. This signifies that long-term holders have slowed their spending and are more likely to be hodlers or even buyers at these prices. This provides another constructive view of market conviction. Long-term holders have spent around 150K Bitcoin since October, which is just 1.11% of their total held balance. The slowdown in spending is notable given the sharp and sustained correction during this time. So look, this is fascinating to me, in case the reason isn't obvious here. If we're seeing true capitulation leading into a bear market, what's with this behavior? It just makes me curious. And so I don't have a strong opinion in terms of whether or not we are, whether or not Bitcoin is or is not in a bear market. I'm just saying, if you look at this metric, this is not the behavior that you would expect. I'm just observing this. Doesn't mean I have the answer, but isn't it curious? Don't you think so? Isn't this kind of curious? Because I'm telling you, people were panic selling like it's going out of style in December 2017. It's like, get the hell out of Bitcoin. And then it had, a dead cat bounce, and then of course it took it a year to actually bottom out, but still, it looked a little bit different, didn't it? I mean, I think so here. And then there's this. Another potentially bullish indicator for Bitcoin is that the percent of its supply that was last active more than 1 year ago remains high, Glassnode reports. And here's a quote. If we look at the supply last active 1 year plus metric, we can see that a great proportion of coins accumulated in late 2020 remain unspent to this day. Since October 2021, over 682,000 Bitcoin have migrated into the 1 year plus age band, representing 3.3% of the circulating coin supply. Over 57% of the coin supply is now older than 1 year, equivalent to the 51.5% seen at the time of the April 2019 bullish impulse. Given how volatile 2021 was, seeing such an acceleration in large proportion of coins held throughout is quite remarkable. End quote. Now check out this, because this next thing, though, the author anyway says this could be bearish, and I'm looking at that a little bit differently. Let me read this. Glassnode notes that Bitcoin's network activity, however, looks lackluster. The number of active on-chain Bitcoin entities is still way down from the levels they were at during the 2017 and 2020/2021 bull runs, a potentially bearish indicator. And so that's the chart that's on your screen right now. And so I'll just say, and it just makes me curious because again, they're saying this could be a potentially bearish indicator. Look at the activity. Well, why not a euphoric blow off top right right before we enter the bear market? Why what I'm saying is, again, this behavior is different. Like, maybe you're right. Maybe Bitcoin's entering a bear market. I'm not saying that's impossible, but I'm just noting that this is not what we look at. 2017 here. It's on your screen right here. Hell, look at this. Massive euphoric blow off top. I mean, because look, unless you're going to argue that this was it back here in 2021 where I'm circling, was this it in terms of but that was the active in 2020. That was before Bitcoin even hit its all-time high months later. Like, it doesn't line up in the same way, and it just makes me kind of curious. Is this really the end? Because I would expect crazy FOMO towards the tail end, unless things are actually going to be notably different this time. I'm just highlighting it. I think it's strange. If we're in a bear market for Bitcoin, that's different. That's strange to me. So we'll see. But again, like I said, people who have a sufficiently long time frame in mind, they end up doing well. Take a look at this headline from Crypto Newsflash. Bitcoin $100,000 price prediction is very likely. Industry pundits explain why. Investment management firm Goldman Sachs Group is convinced that Bitcoin could achieve the $100,000 price prediction of market analysts. This is despite the digital asset's recent persistence below the $50,000 mark. The firm bases its conviction on evidence of increased adoption of digital assets, saying this could increase Bitcoin's share in the store of value market. Yeah, and so I agree with that too, which is why it makes zero. If you understand what you hold and you understand this is the direction the world is going, it makes zero sense to sell at a loss, I think. Like, for myself, I mean, I can't say for you. Sometimes people got to get out for any personal reason. They need money right now, even if it's at a loss. I get it. Life happens. But, which is why, again, I don't know your situation. I'm not telling you to buy or sell anything. I'm just saying, for me, I'll not do that. And on top of that, I've only invested money that I can afford to lose. So if it all goes to zero, Moon Lambo going to be fine, right? But I've set things up that way. I'm not going to invest more than would make me comfortable. You know, I'm not going to put 100% of my net worth, for example, into crypto. I'm just not going to do that. So there we are. So I hope y'all are feeling okay. Everything's going to be fine. Crypto's going to continue existing. The market's moving in tandem. It's not going to zero. Even if we're entering a bear market, I'm just like, okay. And I don't believe that we are in a bear market. Maybe you could argue Bitcoin, like blockchain backers, that's fine. So, but even if Bitcoin is, then we still got this euphoric blow-off top to look forward to, and I'm excited for that then. Either way, I'm feeling 100% fantastic. I've been in this for over 4 years, and I've got a reasonable understanding of what I'm doing. It's not particularly sophisticated, but I have an understanding of human psychology sufficiently. I understand historically how markets have moved. Just from an everyday Joe Schmo perspective, I'm not some sort of analyst, and I don't feel like, but that's the thing. Like, my message has been, and I think it's empowering, the everyday person can achieve life-changing wealth investing in crypto. You just need to understand some core things and you're good to go. But I mean, I still think most people can't handle this. I don't think they're emotionally equipped, so most people do lose money, but that doesn't mean there's not opportunity out there for those people who just have some discipline, and understand some basic stuff. But I'll go ahead and wrap up there. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Lambo.